Okay, so there's one last thing to do. Actually, there's two things to do before we add dimension lines. The first thing I'm going to do is actually save this. So if you haven't saved your drawings by now, highly recommend you do that. You don't want to lose all of this work. So I'm just going to call this drawing demo, and I'm just going to save it in my admin project. Okay, so some of this you will be able to dimension, but you'll notice, and most models will have lots and lots of circles as part of the model. So the way to reference circles is from the middle, which means you need to have added center lines and center marks to all your circles before adding dimensions. So that's up here in the geometry toolbar. We'll start with center marks. To add a center mark, all you have to do is pick the center mark tool, click on the circle, and it'll add a center mark. So I'm going to add a couple center marks here. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to add center marks here as well. Now, so that's all you have to do to add center marks. And now what you'll be able to do when you add dimensions is you'll be able to reference from the middle of the circle rather than from the edge of the circle, which makes it a much more accurate dimension. So I'm going to do something a little bit different for these three circles. A lot of circles in your model will probably follow some kind of pattern. So you do have the center mark pattern tool here as well. So I purposely did the bottom ones without the pattern tool. So I want to show you what happens when I add center marks with the pattern tool. So what it automatically does is it looks to see how the different circles are connected. So if I click on these three circles, it actually shows that they are all on the circumference of this larger circle here. And so that allows me to add some extra dimensions later to help somebody manufacturing this figure out exactly where these circles are at. Now, I've also got my side view over here. And so what I need to do if I want to dimension this side view is I'm going to also need not a center mark, I'm going to need a center line going through the center of this hole right up here. So that's this tool up here, the center line tool. And all I need to do is click on the top of the hole and the bottom of the hole, and it'll add my center line. Now, what I really want is a center line to go all the way through, but I can't do that right now. So what you have to do is you have to hit escape. So deselect the center line. Now we're going to re-select that center line without selecting the whole shape, and now I can just drag it through, and I'm just going to eyeball that. And so now I've got a center line that I can use to reference to all the other geometry in this shape. So that is the last step before we add dimensions, making sure that you add center lines and center marks to your circles.